Baby, what's in there wine? I feel sexy as fuck. I see why y'all like wine.
All right, all right. Welcome. It's Monday night, and you already know what time it is. If you don't know, now you know. It is party in the chat, and that's what we do on Monday nights over here in the palace. Is we just do an accumulation of all things that's been going on the weekend, honey, that we didn't get a chance to cover on. I said what I said. We spin the block, and you see who made the thumbnail tonight. We gonna run it down. We got Kandi and Todd. They are divorcing after 11 years of marriage. Woo! And then we got the Braxtons. We're going to break down episodes 7 and 8. We got a lot to do. And I hope you came prepared on a school night. Listen, I feel like this party in the chat is right on time because even though it's a Monday, it's like the Monday of Thanksgiving week. So ain't nobody really too serious about work or school or anything like that. The kids are out, you chilling, you're kind of probably half-assing it at work and, you know, doing the minimum, clicking the keyboard as if you were there. Child, when I tell you we got a lot of hot topics, we got so many things coming up this week here in the palace. You do not want to miss it. I just gave you the newest update on Anna Kepner. Her death is now being declared a homicide. That's the young lady that was murdered aboard the Carnival cruise ship by her stepbrother. Listen, it's plenty of content over here. It is plenty of content for y'all to busy yourselves with.
Where is the content? Where is the content?
It's here. That's it. You got all week to catch up, but we're about to party in the chat. And if you do not understand what party in the chat is, listen. It's where the tea is hot. We're going to party in the chat. You grab a cocktail. Yes, even on a Monday night, we're having a cocktail. Let me tell you what I'm drinking tonight. I'm having a glass of Chardonnay. Okay, I got a glass of Chardonnay, and that's all I'm having tonight. And we're going to get into Kandi and Todd. We're going to get into the Braxtons. We may even talk about other hot topics based on what's happening in the chat. In the chat. Listen, I have no control over the chat. They own that domain. It is what it is. That's it. That's all. Now, I put a live poll in the chat, and I asked those of you that are tuned in, I said, who would you like for me to start with first? Do you want me to start with Kandi and Todd, or do you want me to start with the Braxtons? We have over 115 votes. I'm going to give you 60 more seconds, and may the best vote win. We're going to get into it. I'm ready to go either way. As the votes continue to go in, I'm going to tee up my computer. Y'all, the streets is hot and people are talking, and I got a little bit of tea on Kandi and Todd from an inside source there in Atlanta. I got starting with Kandi and Todd. I got a little bit of tea to make it all make sense to why you see Kandi moving the way she's been moving this past couple of months. Okay. Let's see if we can get the final vote in, and we will take it from there. Let me see. Let's see what the final vote is, and we're going to take it from there. Hold on. Oh, I just messed up my screen. Give me 1 second. I just messed up my screen. I got all my stuff ready to go. Give me 1 second and we're going to get started. I'm trying to look at the results of the vote. Can anybody put the results of the vote in? Because sometimes I be messing up stuff. I ain't got no business messing up. How's everybody doing tonight? If you missed Sunday session, it's a members only segment. Make sure you go behind the wall. We had some fantastic recipes that were given out for Thanksgiving. And when I tell you, I think we're ready to go. I think everybody's turkey is going to be good this holiday. And if not, you have nobody to blame but yourself, because you could have spent that $9.99 and brought your ass to the palace and got behind the wall. You get behind there for everything else. You get behind there and copy everything else. So you could have copied that good old recipe on how to have that turkey real nice and juicy. It ain't no excuse for you to be kicked out during Thanksgiving. We give you the sauce. In addition to content, we give you the sauce. We told you, Julie came up and told you how to make sure your turkey is going to be moist and nice and sweet and all that good stuff. So it ain't going to be no excuses for anybody to have a dry turkey. If you got $9.99, click members, join, and there you go. We got you. All right, let's take a look at the vote. Hold on. I'm surprised Todd ain't blocked me yet, because I've been talking shit about him. I've been talking shit. I even reposted his story on my story. Hold on. Here we go. The live vote looks like you all are wanting to, with over 155 votes, 69% of you have stated you want to talk about Todd and Kandi first. That's what we're going to do. We're going to get the people what they want. With that being said, let's get started. Y'all ready? And now my dogs have decided to wrestle while I'm live. Can y'all hear them running? Y'all hear that foolishness? Listen, they just like kids. You didn't think about wrestling and biting each other until I got on this microphone and decided I wanted to go live. All right, EBT accepted, said we ready. All right, here we go. Listen, Kandi came off of a high last weekend. She came off of a high from BravoCon, right? In Las Vegas. But people noticed that she had dropped Tucker from her last name. And they also noticed that she wasn't wearing her wedding ring. Now, I noticed and I saw the headlines and I was looking, but at the same time, I'm like, you know what? I don't want to put too much into it. I don't think she's really getting a divorce. Hell, sometimes you don't want to take expensive jewelry to those type of events because people be stealing. So that doesn't mean she's getting a divorce. This is what I'm telling myself. Lo and behold, 48 hours after coming home from BravoCon, the Real Housewives of Atlanta alum Kandi Burruss announced that after 11 years of marriage, she said, I'm tired. I don't want to do it no more. It ain't what I thought it was going to be. It's definitely a scheme set up by Todd to come at me with the bullshit for my money. Now, let me ask y'all something. Do you feel like Todd was really after Kandi's money from the get-go? Or do you feel like that's just something that he couldn't escape because once Mama Joyce said it, it grew wings and it took off and he's never been able to reestablish himself since then? What are your thoughts? Hey, Deity Supreme. I see you. Deity Supreme is in the house. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We got Trey Carter in the house. EBT accepted. Linda Gamble, my moderator. Toot Latrice is in the house. We got Desira Gilbert, who's here also working. And if not, she's here in spirit. Okay. What are your thoughts? Okay. Desira's here. Desira say, honestly, I don't think he was after her money. Betty Boop said, yeah, he was after her money. Ain't no way around it. He was after her money. Now, let me ask you something, because we're about to get deep. Does it matter? Because this may change your mind. Does it matter? I'm for a reason. You got to follow me. That Mama Joyce is a Scorpio. Yes or no? Because they say Scorpios be knowing they can read right through you, even if they're 10, 11 years early. Does it matter now that you know Mama Joyce is a Scorpio? Jacqueline said, no, hell no. Miss Beverly said she does not feel like Todd was after Kandi's money. Okay. Some of y'all are saying, yeah. Okay, now that I know she is Scorpio, Baylor says she knew. I just want to put that little bit of tea out there. I don't know if it makes a difference, but they say Scorpios be knowing the real from the fake, even if they're light years ahead. And sometimes it can get them pinned, the enemy, the public enemy. Remember, everybody's like, Mama Joyce is weird. Mama Joyce just an old lonely lady, when really she could have been a Scorpio that was just, I see you. Now, I'm not going to say I agree with her way, but once Scorpios are stuck in their ways, they're just stuck in their ways. But most of you, I think it's a 50-50 split. Most people are saying they don't feel like Todd was after her money. Deity Supreme is saying, hold on, I'm going to read that one. Oh, I can't catch it. The chat is going fast. You said, my mama always know before I do. That's all I'm saying. Okay. All right. Well, Kandi came home after BravoCon, and she said, I can't do it anymore. It's too much for me. She didn't say it. I'm paraphrasing. Well, she did say it. I'm going to play it. And we're going to get a divorce. That's it. That's all. I've always rooted for Todd and Kandi. I didn't buy into the rhetoric or the notion that he was there for her money. I just wanted to see them have a genuine start, but I don't think they ever got a chance to take off. I think there was turmoil, complexities, drama, strife from the get-go. And to be honest with you, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if I would have gotten married with that amount of mess. I don't know if that kind of love is worth fighting for when your mama is never gonna like me. Your mama's going after my mama. Now, let me pause. Because this doesn't mean I'm taking up for Todd or Kandi. I'm just refreshing y'all's memory of the history that they've had together. It's been rocky. It's not like they came up into this marriage and it's been solid right up until like the midnight hour. Do y'all not remember Kandi finalized the prenup at the I think it was the right before the rehearsal dinner. Right before the rehearsal dinner, she finalized the prenup. I mean, it came down to the wire. And to me, those are signs. Don't do it, Kandi or Todd. Now, they say 85% of marriages that end in divorce are often initiated by women. Watch this, by women. However, some people believe that 85% of those divorces should have never been marriages. Do you feel like Kandi and Todd had no business marrying in the first place? If you feel like they should have never married, type never in the chat. Type never in the chat. Do you feel like Kandi did her due diligence? Because there are so many dynamics at play before we get into today of 2025. Do you feel like Kandi did her due diligence of piping down Mama Joyce, even if Mama Joyce had foresight and felt like Todd wasn't a good husband? Do you feel like Kandi did her part to make sure that her marriage had a chance? Or did she let her mother get all up in that marriage? Okay, Patricia feels like Todd was disrespected from the beginning. Okay, that's a good point. If Todd was a man of a particular financial status, do you still feel like he would have been disrespected? I'm not excusing disrespect. I do believe there were moments and instances that Todd was disrespected. If he came to the table fully yoked, equally yoked financially, do you feel like he would have gotten the pushback that he got in the marriage? That's my second question. What are your thoughts? I often wondered why Todd would sit there and roll over and take it. Now, that part I never understood as a woman. Because the men I know, they wouldn't give a damn if they had a penny or $1,000,000. You're not going to disrespect them like that. They're not going to be overly aggressive with you, but they may have to draw the line in the sand somewhere. So when Todd didn't really erect his spine when it came to Kandi and his mama, and her mother, y'all ready? I started side eyeing Todd. And I said, although I don't like Mama Joyce's delivery, and although I think she's hella disrespectful and extremely protective, she may be on to something. Because it ain't too many men I know that's going to roll over for any woman to talk and treat them like that just to stay in a marriage. And that's when I started becoming more suspicious and saying, why are you really here? Because it's not giving love. It's not like I see this overly affectionate thing between Kandi and Todd. I'm talking about over the years. Why are you really here? What would really make you sit here and let this lady talk to you like that? Because I guarantee you, if you put enough power and bass in your voice and not be disrespectful and give her a run for her money, you're not going to have no more problems with Mama Joyce. But he never did. And because he didn't, I've always been suspicious. Okay, forever evolving me says, I don't think he even knew how to respectfully check her mother. Well, I think that's what that's where I felt like he needed to push the envelope, because she was pushing the envelope. He didn't need to knock it off the table, but he definitely needed to push the envelope a little bit. I'm telling you, it's not too many men, real men, that's going to sit there and let a mother berate them year after year after year after year, especially on national television, and never draw a line in the sand unless, watch this, the prize on the other side is worth the wait and worth the disrespect. And that's when I started to think, oh, I get it. He getting to the bag. He on that money, 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 come to me type time. I can take it because I understand the assignment. Could that be the case? Now, if you understand, in most states, all you need is 10 years to access pensions, Social Security, retirement. It don't just work for women. It also works for men. Depending on the level and the depth of that prenup, he may have access to some things. We're about to get into it. Y'all ready? But let me get to this super chat real quick.
Money, 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 money comes to me, flowing effortlessly. Money, 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 money comes to me, comes to me, comes to me, comes to me. Money, 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 money comes to me, flowing effortlessly. Money, 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 money comes to me, comes to me, comes to me. Money, 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 money.
Yes, thank you. Side Eye Sage 7 with the 5-piece and a pepper. She said Todd dealt with the mess because he's a hustler. Bigger picture of building his own profile. Listen, that's all I'm saying. If you follow the game, it's like a game of chess. And you'd be like, why would you make that move? Why would you sit there and allow mom to disrespect you? Most people can't take it. Most people won't. It just, and then I said, oh my God, I get it. I'm riding with you. Taffy 2003 Love, thank you for the 10-piece and the pepper. We appreciate both of you and your support of the channel. Now, we're about to get into it. When Kandi announced her split from Todd, I was, because to me, there were not evident, there was not obvious clues. But now that I have the receipts that I have, we're about to play, I'm like, oh shit, it was sitting right in front of us this entire time. So here's what we need to know. Number one, 3 days ago, on November 21st, Kandi Burruss announced that she was leaving, splitting, divorcing from her husband, Todd Tucker. So one of you DM'd me something about Todd, and I said, not too quick. And you said, why? I said, because we don't know who filed for divorce first. Now that I think about it, it's Kandi. The second thing is she asked for privacy, grace, and understanding as they navigate this transition with their family. And then the third thing we need to know is they were married 11 years. They wed in April of 2014. They welcomed 2 children. One she had biologically, the other one they had via surrogate. Got it? So after 11 years of marriage, they're going their separate ways. I think we're all grounded in that. But the streets are talking and everybody want to know why. Everybody wants to know why. Now, that's the part that Kandi is saying, well, first of all, some of y'all talking and y'all don't even know what y'all are talking about. She said, I hear all kind of reports that are not true. We're going to play that. But according to Kandi, she says, after praying and moving forward with the decision to file for divorce, she said this is a very difficult and emotional time for her. But listen to this. Sometimes you got to listen. She says, my focus remains on protecting my peace. My focus remains on protecting my peace. Ladies, you know what that means. When a woman says, I'm protecting my peace, hold on, Todd, that means you didn't kept that girl up some nights. How many nights? Even though she's a millionaire, you didn't kept her up. You didn't snatched her emotional stability from her psychological safety, to the point that now, moving forward, her focus is to protect her peace, put some guardrails in place, a wedge of protection. What did you do? So that insinuates to me that you did something to cross the line. And if you did something to cross the line to cause Kandi Burris to file for divorce, it had to be rather serious, because Kandi was down with the get down. What you talking about, Queen Sheba? She was okay with having, allegedly, other people in the bedroom. She was okay with allegedly getting kinky. Can we get kinky tonight? I got so many things on my mind. Hey, she was doing all that. And that still wasn't good enough. And that's why some of y'all need to sit your ass down and stop letting these damn men talk you into threesomes and esomes and this and that, because it ain't good enough. If they even asking you for that, you in trouble. Oh, baby, a hit dog is going to holler. What you mean? I do that with my husband. If they're even asking you for that, you're in trouble. And she gave him that allegedly, and then some allegedly, and a little bit of this and that allegedly. And it still wasn't enough. So you crossed the line in the worst way, that in her official statement following announcing she would be leaving you, she followed up with, I'm going to be focusing on protecting my peace and being the best mother I can be. Watch this. I'm stepping into a new chapter, pouring into my work. I mean, he was a roadblock, a barrier to work. Because Todd, I do kind of remember a couple of times where I kind of felt like you was charging her up on the show, The Real Housewives of Atlanta. Now, I don't know about them tuned in. To speak for myself, I was kind of feeling like you was hating on your own wife when it came to her success, and you were trying to put her back up against the wall. You didn't seem like a loving and supporting partner in that moment to me. What you appeared to me a few years ago, and I kept it to myself, was a nagging little brother. A nagging little brother and not a supportive husband. I want some of what you got. How come I can't go try and build my Tonka truck and put my Legos together? How come you get a birthday party and I don't? I want a cake too. How come I don't have balloons? Can we try to get a restaurant for me on your dime? And let me tell you how I know he didn't take it serious. Because it wasn't his money. He failed and flopped and flailed and flopped every business, mostly every business that she sponsored financially for him. Well, how you know she sponsored it? By the lack of effort. You would go back and play the tapes on The Real Housewives of Atlanta. She was like, you didn't get this done. You didn't get that done. To a person like that, you know why they're not going to get it done? Because it ain't their money on the line. Not his money on the line. So there's no sense of urgency. He can kind of do what he wants. And it sounds like that's what he did. And Kandi Burris has decided that enough is enough is enough is enough. Now, here's what I think you should do, Kandi. She says, I'm grateful to everyone who supported us throughout the years. I ask for my privacy, grace, and understanding as we navigate this transition with our family. Tasha K announced today that she ended up, and she summarized somewhere along the lines that the marriage was a front the entire time. I'm going to call bullshit. Kandi doesn't have to get married to hide the fact that she's gay, if she's gay. Now, Tasha's claiming to Kandi, I don't believe that. You can't make me believe that. Kandi is not the type of person. It ain't like Kandi came from a Mormon church and we met her at the altar. And that was her introduction on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I'm calling bullshit. That sounds very entertaining, but I don't think that's the truth. I don't think Kandi had to marry the likes of a Todd Talker to hide her sexuality or her desire for women. I think she's been very open. Very open. I think Kandi got married because she wanted to get married. I think Kandi got married because she thought she loved Todd. Period. I think Kandi found out very soon that Todd was an asshole. Listen. He was an asshole. Todd was so cold-hearted to his daughter. I did not quite understand the lack of disassociation, the lack of disconnect. And let me tell you what really messed my mind up watching Todd on screen with his daughter. Your daughter's a very quiet and meek and mild individual. She's not loud and boisterous. And even if she were, so what is your child? She's very subdued, submissive, small in stature, and he still was an asshole to that girl. He still was somewhat mean to her, barely wanted to give her financial support, but then wanted everything from Kandi. And that confused me too on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. And I was like, why are you mean to your daughter? I couldn't put two and two together. And then we started to see less of Kayla, and I felt really, really bad. And then it just went away, right? It just went away. And I was like, well, okay. That's weird. That's odd. Now, Kandi, this is what I think you should do. You tried marriage. It didn't work. And I'm going to say you had a man that didn't like you. He liked what you had, but he didn't like you. We're going to play some clips. I think moving forward, as you move freely throughout the cabin, you have enough money that you're set for the rest of your life. You don't really have to get married to be in a committed relationship. I think it's important that you protect your investment. I think if you ever consider marriage again, he's going to have to be a millionaire. Period, point blank. He cannot be a Todd Talker. Because if what the streets are saying is true, what they're saying is, here's one rumor that is being alleged that Todd fell in love with Kandi's friend, Fatuma. Have y'all heard of her? Fatuma. Okay. Queen Sheba, people just fall in love. No, they don't. There's steps to falling in love. There has to be an introduction. Upon the introduction, you may have to, wait a minute. I think I'm attracted to him. I think I'm attracted to her. And then you get this moral meter that says back off, no more engagement, go the other way. When they're hanging out, don't you go. When she comes over, you go find something to do. And he didn't, if it's true, right? Here's the thing about being predatory and an opportunist, as Mama Joyce says. You took advantage of her financially and you wanted her to fund your future. So, Kandi, you've been feeding him the entire time throughout the marriage, not just financially, but romantically. You've laid your friends in front of him to have first dibs, a huge mistake. He had too much access to your life. That nigga got too comfortable and even told you years ago what he was going to do. Should y'all ended the marriage. Actually, it was 2023, 2 years ago. So I'm inclined to believe there could be some truth to the rumor that you've been knocking down her homegirls and actually fell in love with one of them because of what you said in your own YouTube video, Todd Tucker. Hold on. Here we go. Now, I want to show y'all a clip. After Kandi announced her divorce, that they would be divorcing the other day, I felt sad. But then I changed my mind real quick. Queen Sheba, why you change your mind? Because Todd was on some bullshit. What'd he say? Let me show you. Hold on.
The guy said that last time they went to the Ultimate Club, Carmen was sitting on his lap. When he told me that, I said, oh, hell, I paid double for that.
But at the end of the day, he never got no pictures. He was telling you a story, Mama.
Well, it could have been a scheme that Todd set up for him to come to you with the booze.
And this is why I said, oh, I ain't sad no more. Kandi, you better be ready to put your dukes up because Todd posted this. And he titled it, "This Next Scheme is Genius. Stay tuned." This next scheme is genius. Stay tuned. Kandi, you need to go full throttle. That ain't the man you marry. The man that captioned that is not the man you marry. This is a nigga that's after your money. This is somebody that's ready to play. This is somebody that's going to be locked and loaded, and it's going to have the audacity to ask you to pay for attorney's fees. When he came out with that, no, I'm not. Cheryl said, I know you effing lying, child. He said, this next scheme is genius. Stay tuned. Kandi, I believe, baby, you was sleeping with the enemy. And then I posted, maybe I didn't. I put it on my... This next scheme is genius. Unless they lying about the divorce, but I don't see Kandi. Child. I don't see Kandi playing with us. Kandi, watch out. I think he's ready. But let's take a look. Let's take a look of what Todd has been up to leading to the divorce. People started pulling social media receipts, and let me tell you something. All along, it was sitting right there in front of us. If it was a snake, it would have bit you. Here we go. Now, let me tell you what the streets are saying. A source told me, shared with me confidentially, that Todd Ben knew that the marriage was over with before they announced it. Todd Ben knew that Kandi wanted out of the marriage, and Kandi went to him and asked him to move out of the marital home. Let me say allegedly. Allegedly. He refused to leave the house, y'all. He's still in the house, allegedly refusing to leave. And that's why you've been seeing Kandi traveling and doing so much outside of the home because he refuses to leave the residence. She been asked him to leave. That's how I know he violated. See, when women start asking you to get your shit and get out, you done did something. But he don't want to get out because he wants to establish a different line of separation. Why would he not get out the house? Because as long as I can hold off on the legal date of separation, I'm entitled to what? That money comes to me. I ain't going nowhere. Because I know you see, Todd knows what Kandi has coming down the pipeline by way of projects. We don't. I ain't going nowhere. Because the day I leave, I'm pretending like I'm Todd, right? You're going to have to make me leave. because the day I leave is when the judge is going to count that day as official date of separation. I'm staying right here. You going to pay me because everything that you earn in this marriage, depending on that prenup, I have access to. Now let's take a look. Of some of these schemes set up by Todd. Give me 1 second. And then we're going to talk about some of the commentary that Kandi has released. Here we go. And shout out to Binge Worthy. This is where I was able to pull this clip that's been floating around. One of these clips that's been floating around on social media. This one is directly from Binge Worthy. Well, actually, I got two clips. Let me play the first. This is from the Neighborhood Talk.
So I'm gonna be real with y'all. For y'all women who are bosses and have all this money and got this extra shit.
Why are you saying it like that?
No, because I think, I understand the double standard, but I think you also need to understand the man that you're with, the man that you chose and you're allowed to choose you, that you can't be so mine. You know what I mean? You have to open up within reason. I'm not saying going by no niggas, no Bentleys and doing dumb shit, but you got to invest in y'all and y'all.
Look at Kandi. I'm pausing it on purpose. He ain't shit. He's using his social media. So this is a resurfaced video that's showing Todd saying women who don't want to share their wealth will end up by themselves. This is after Kandi. This resurfaced after Kandi filed for divorce. And he said, you got to let your man feel like a man. And he started off the video saying, for women that y'all are bosses and y'all got shit and extra shit. In the background said, well, first of all, why are you saying it like that? Todd, there seems to be a little bit of it seems a bit personalized. It's a little edge on that. I'm not saying you got to let a man spend all your money, but he should be able to have access. Now look at Kandi's face because she knows exactly what he's talking about, and she know he's talking about her and her money. And he goes, you can't be talking about my. The only thing she can be talking about is her money.
Future, and you gotta let your man feel like a man in those scenarios, because with all the money that you have, you can't end up by yourself. You know what I mean? Because at times,
y'all, this is during a freaking live video, and he has the camera smack dab on his wife. Let's go.
Sometimes that type of energy of it's mine. No, I'm just being honest as a man. I'm just giving you my honest stuff. I'm gonna be real with y'all. For y'all women who are bosses and have all this money and got this extra shit, my honest opinion. No, because as you continue to be like, it's mine. I understand that double standard. It's hard to hear someone say it's mine, but I think you also need to understand. Can I talk? And it's not about.
Hold on. Is it looping? Is it me or is the video looping? Is the video looping or does it sound clear? Yeah, she's pissed, Inez, because he's taking a shot at her. And he's mad and he's getting his lick back because she won't allow him to run through her money. But she did, kind of. She did kind of because, sir, you have failed businesses, construction companies, trucking businesses on her dime. So it's looping. That's the only thing I hate about this. Let's see if we can get it. Hold on. Let me see if I can get the second.
I'm gonna be real with y'all. For y'all women, my honest opinion. Okay. As you continue to be like, it's mine. It's hard to hear someone say it's mine in a relationship that's supposed to be it's ours. Can I talk? And it's not about, hey, I got this 10 million, let me give you 5. It's not that. It's more so just knowing like, yo, we got each other.
Hell no. Go ahead.
Whatever. Let's build, let's make it happen. But when you hear a person say mine a lot, that shit sticks. Believe me, I'm telling you. My honest opinion.
First of all, she was more than generous. She let you play with her money time and time and time again, reluctantly, and you still didn't score a touchdown, sir. And now you're trying to manipulate and gaslight her by going live and saying we supposed to have each other. And if I decide I want to go out with no trucking experience and get a trucking business and drop $1 million, and if you got 50, just give me $1 million. Child, please. Now let's go to some other resurfaced clips that have come. Maybe this is the same one.
That's not even part of the conversation.
No, but it is to me, because even in divorce, I don't think it's right when men be trying to take half of the women. I don't think it's cool. Like, I feel like a man should always be a man and be able to handle his own.
So you gained your money while the man was with you and he nurtured you.
Did I tell you? He says, but what if you gained your money while the man was with you and my job was to nurture you? Didn't I tell you, if it's true that she asked his ass to move out months ago and he hasn't left because he wants the separation date to be as far out as possible so that he can get as much as he can on his way out the door? And now you hear a video clip being resurfaced from when? 2023? Of him saying, but if you earned it and I nurtured you, then I deserve half.
He helped you, gave you ideas. He was a part of that, that progression. You don't think he should get anything? You did
I don't
it
even
all.
like it. This is the fucking dry begging for me. You begging on camera. I want you to let your nuts hang a little bit and at least have that conversation off camera, even if you feel like you are owed something. Don't do it on camera. It's giving sassy boy. Mama, I don't get nothing. Let me tell you something. Kandi Burrs was established before you came in, and I'm sure that whatever ideas you gave her were half-assed, and she still had to do the work to clean up.
What is he?
Nobody said she did it all.
You do that. Let's work on this. Like he's setting you up. He's organizing you. He's getting your shit right.
You saying like a Wendy Williams situation?
Oh, I don't really know that thing, but I'm just saying that he helps you blow up.
Well, I'm saying because he was like her manager, right?
No, I'm just saying someone who like really influences, who's really there. So now you blew up. You wasn't blown up.
Nick, y'all, let me get off. I can't even finish. I'm done with this live. He said you was nobody before I came. I blew you up. I got you popping as Kandi Burrs, and you don't think I deserve something? I'm the one that came in. Child. Sir, you picked her because she was blown up. Oh, you right. Sounds like Offset. We're going to cover that tomorrow. We got a lot of catching up to do. Let's continue this foolishness.
Now you blew up.
Okay, I like how Steve Harvey say he is now with his wife. But the money I had when I came in this thing,
But nobody's talking about. That's not even part of the conversation.
No, but it is to me, because what I'm saying.
He mad about her money.
When you and I got together in marriage,
right,
and we made more businesses, we made more, there were more things happening.
Right.
To me, the money that was made after marriage, that's a different conversation, because we both contributed, whatever.
That's not even part of the conversation.
No, but it is to me, because even in divorce, I don't think it's right when men be trying to take half of the women.
This man was setting up this scheme by Todd in 2023. This is September 15th of 2023. Now let's go back. I think I got a different clip. Give me 1 second. I got that one. I could be wrong. I think I got another one. Stand by. Or that could be it. Hold on. That might be it. Y'all gonna see all my little stuff that I got covered. Okay. All right. Let's get to Kandi's response to just the social media hoopla and everything that's going on. Oh, here's another one. Listen to this one.
I'm smashing all Kandi friends if we single.
Shut
I'm
up.
the ball down.
I would nuts.
This man said, if we break up, I'm having sex with all your friends. I'm going to be like, ah. Y'all, she should have left him then.
No. I gotta go.
Would you be mad if I was smashing one of your friends?
Hell yeah. If we went together no more, yes, you're my
Wait, is there any
husband and my children's
Is
father.
there any friend you wouldn't even be tripping about?
This nigga is for the streets. I'm sorry. This man is for the streets. You are her husband. You are the father of her children. Why are you talking about potentially and manifesting a breakup so that you can have your way sexually? This is a dog. He got that dog in him. You should have sent his ass to the dog house and packed his belongings and let the dog catcher come pick his ass up. You should have kicked him out way as soon as he finished this speech on live. The man told you he was going to sleep with your friends.
Ass like you think
Not
about
tell
it.
me. I'm just talking shit.
He ain't going nowhere.
And let me watch this. Watch this. Let me tell you about a no good ass man. Why every time her glam squad is over and she's down in the basement getting her hair done and her makeup done, you down there. Y'all done peep that? Every video she's getting her stuff done. Why you down there like one of the girls? Talking, running your mouth. You know what? Assessing the area, seeing who's down for whatever, picking. Let me get a little close. Let me see what that makeup artist is talking about. Let me see what that hairstylist is talking about. Y'all ain't noticed that? Why you all up in the women's business? Watch them. Most men don't even want to be bothered when we getting our hair and makeup done. Ooh, like that's their excuse to go. He right there. And this footage is from a video, according to Bingeworthy. This footage is from a video posted August 7th, 2023 on Todd's YouTube. So August, September, the man has started. He couldn't fake no more. Queen Sheba, what does this mean? I hone in on the psychological and behavioral traits of the Black experience. Now he cannot pretend any longer. He's bursting from the seams. That means he already did it.
Then I was like, but babe, I'm happy now.
That's what I'm saying. Like, to me, it's like.
And Ace and Blaze loves them.
Yeah.
I was saying the shit out of you.
Was he already with Fatuma? Why would you even be speaking? It's one thing to smash. It's another thing to create a forevermore. You gave a scenario that if I smash one of your friends and I come back and I tell you I'm with her and Ace and Blaze love them, y'all better listen when people talk. This ain't even a smashing situation. This is a forever. He trying to hurt her. That means I'm going to choose your friend long-term over you to be my forevermore.
You bring so hot around like you.
Let me tell you.
I know I'm just messing up your whole video.
I'm smashing all Kandi's friends if we single.
He said what he said. He said what he said. He's smashing them all and probably had while he was talking in that moment. Now, Kandi has kind of spoke and talked about her challenges right now. Let me see which clip I want to use. Let me use this one. This is from the Shade Room.
Lola Jones says, Kandi, it's good to see you in good spirits with so much going on. I'm sorry about you and Todd. Okay, so yeah, I've been going through it. Life has been lifing me. Okay, I filed for divorce on Friday, and yeah, right now it's a pretty.
Okay, watch this. Somebody pull up Friday's date. Maybe I can do it real quick. Hold on. Friday's date was when? We got to get into the psychology of what's happening here. She filed for divorce on Friday. That would have been November 21st. When did BravoCon kick off? Can somebody tell me real quick? She filed for divorce on Friday. BravoCon kicked off when? Real quick, and I'll continue to play. We gonna do our own timeline, Kandi. If you're not gonna give us the information, okay, the 17th. All right. Monday? I got too many different dates coming. 14th. Let's go 14th. She filed for divorce a week after BravoCon kicked off. That means, okay, what's happening here? I like to get into the psychology of it. She was disconnected. You remember she said, I had to pray? After much thought and prayer and this and this and that, she was by herself in that hotel room. She didn't have to see him. She was out of the house. See, nigga, you should have left when she asked you to. And it may not have ended in a divorce. When somebody asks you to leave, sometimes they just need time to think. I'm not saying he should have, could have, would have, but maybe he could have said, I'll give you 7 days, but I'm coming home, or I'll go upstairs or downstairs. You should have given her what she asked for. But the fact that you wouldn't bend or be flexible, so she gets to BravoCon, we're going to assume the date. If BravoCon kicked off the 14th, we're going to say she was there the 12th or the 13th, a couple of days earlier, right? A whole week to process. Do I or do I not want to be with this man? And then when did BravoCon end? BravoCon ended that Sunday. 2 days before BravoCon ended, she decided, you know what? I'm done. I'm not doing this. Before she got home, listen to this. Before she got home, she picked up the phone. I'm going to say allegedly, but I'm a pretty smart girl. She said, I can't do it. I'm not going back home to that. I want to end it. I want to end it. She picked up that phone while she was at BravoCon and said, I'm done. I'm done.
Crazy time. Anyway, Ali says, will you do a speak on it about current news? Yeah, I will. Yeah, I guess, yeah, eventually. And me being the Taurus that I am, I like to keep those moments to myself. When I was on Housewives, I really couldn't keep moments to myself when I got upset, so y'all would catch me crying. But in real life, I don't really like for those moments to be shared with the world. I am up and down. And to be clear, yes, I filed Friday, but, this is something that, has been brewing for a while. So
I heard that. My source did tell me, oh no, Queen Sheba, it's been real bad. And she asked him to leave. Okay, Toot Latrice, thank you for that information. Toot says on the 14th is when she received the Lifetime Achievement Award and thanked Andy for being there for her. Listen, I hone in on the psychological and the behavioral traits of the Black experience. So one of the biggest moments of your life, your husband is probably treating you like crap. You're out. Okay, I'm right then. So she received, hold on, the award on the 14th. She probably got there the 12th. Didn't I say that? Kandi's very responsible. She's not the type of celebrity that's going to come in the day before. They like to get up. They'd like to get the responsible ones like to get set up, get in their suites, get a good feel for the lay of the land, make sure the makeup artist one day before is too risky. I was right. She probably came 2 days before, got her award on the 14th, still not sure about what she's going to do. Such a beautiful moment of getting a Lifetime award, but not being treated like a wife by your own husband, who's probably stealing from you, allegedly, cheating on you with your friend, allegedly. And this is a repeated pattern of behavior, disrespectful to the core. Because if you could talk about smashing one of my friends on camera, I can only imagine what you're talking or how you're speaking to her when the cameras are not on. Cold, disconnected, like you are with your daughter, period. and she sat in it. And a week later, she says, I'm done. Before she gets on the plane to come home. I'm done.
Well, all the times you be seeing me online like, all of that means nothing. I've been going through it, y'all.
And the person that goes through it is typically the one that's being done wrong. She's hurting the most because she's not the one that's the offender, probably in the relationship. He cool. He reminds me of Pedro from 90 Day Fiance, that Dominican that came over here and played Chantel all the way to the bank, got his green card, got his mama over here, one of the dirtiest, filthiest, but cold-hearted men I've ever met. And when I tell you that man carried that assignment out all the way to the finish, married her, slept with her, did all of that. And towards the end of the marriage, he started getting mean like Todd because he understood I only have a certain amount of time to stay in the marriage. I get my green card, I'm out. And that man carried the assignment out. Broke Chantel down to the point Chantel is now dating women, has put on almost 100 pounds. We don't even recognize Chantel anymore. Took the life and the beauty right up out of her. And that's how I know you did something to Kandi, because she says, it's highs and lows for me. I'm going through it. The one that gets treated the worst is the one that's going through it, because there's so many dynamics. There's so many layers to peel back. You say, how come I didn't see it? How come I didn't listen to my mom? I'm embarrassed. I'm ashamed. Why did I date a man that, and then the whole time, and then the time he took my money, and so many thoughts. That's why it's like a roller coaster ride for her, because she denied her instinct and decided to trust in him when she knows she probably should have pulled the plug. Reminds me of Pedro and Chantel. Period.
We'll talk about more of that later. I don't want to be sad right now.
She's hurt.
Jones says,
Kandi is truly hurt. I don't care what you say about Kandi. I don't think she had any ill will towards Todd. I think she wanted the best out of this marriage. And I think Kandi realized for the first time in her life, I got God. This man actually stayed with me for 11 years and had no good intent in this marriage. The intent was the money. Let's go.
Sage says, how are you feeling today? Okay, Sage. I'm going to be very honest with you. I am up and down. Obviously going through a divorce is definitely not the easiest thing. Sometimes, you're cool. You know what I mean? You're moving, you're mixing, you're moving, and you're hanging out with friends. But then sometimes you have your moments of sadness, and me being the Taurus that I am, I like to keep those moments to myself. When I was on Housewives, I really couldn't keep moments.
So that was just that. I truly believe her heart is broken. I truly believe her heart is broken. So that's basically all I have. Ooh, we got another one. I got more receipts. Here we go. I thought I was done with the receipts, but here we go.
Were you thinking about marriage at all?
Nah, I just thought she was cool. I was like, she's cool. She's real chill. Like, I like a little energy. She got a big booty. Yeah.
The interviewer said, were you thinking about marrying Kandi? He said, I just thought she was cool. Y'all, I keep telling y'all, quit coming to my channel if you're not ready for truth. What you talking about? I thought we was talking about Kandi car. Hold on. Because I be trying to tell you, a man can stay with you and not love you. A man can have babies with you and have no intention of being forever with you. He said that was not my intent with her. Never marriage. Let's continue.
Yeah, what's up? You know what I mean? But it wasn't. Yeah, the marriage thing didn't come to the prayer thing and her telling me to make a decision. I was like, oh, I like that shit. That shit is hot.
Well, let's
Who do you think she is?
Well, I mean, come on. I didn't have time to be playing games with you.
And he still carried that attitude throughout the duration of the marriage. I'm Todd. Who the fuck she thinks she is? Kandi. He's going to take you or try to take you for everything you have. That's it. That's all. He said I had no intention of marrying her. She forced me. I'm like, I'm Todd. Who the fuck she thinks she is? And let him go be Todd with a lesser than woman. You didn't lose anything, Kandi, but he's going to take your money. And I'm sorry. This is going to be a very expensive lesson. He's going to take your money and make a better life with a lesser woman. Y'all, I know it hurts, don't it? It hurts. But Kandi, you just gonna have to keep your chin up and your crown adjusted. But he's gonna get a good piece of your pie, and he's going to create a life with a woman that I call the have-nots. See, y'all call them pick-meshas. I call them the have-nots. The have-nots are those that they could never have access to your life, Kandi. I don't care if they're more beautiful, younger. She's still a have-not. Ooh, can we talk? Thank you. She said Tamar told us, y'all. Tamar is a water sign. One thing about these water signs, listen, you may not like our delivery. And Kandi, make all your friendships right. That he was the cause of the demise. But he's going to get another woman because that's what niggas like him do. And he's going to get it on your dime. And I hope he still got that little cheap ass apartment. He may continue to furnish that and refurbish that. Kandi, just take that L and keep it moving. And it's going to appear as if you're losing. He's going to move on fast. He's going to front her. He's going to put her in public. He needs to feel like the man, and he's going to do it on your dime. But I promise you, if you wait, this too shall pass. That's it. That's all. It's an expensive lesson. And whomever he's with, she's waiting in the cut. She don't feel like they're doing anything wrong, Kandi, and she probably feels like they're in love, and she's okay with living off of your dime. So stick it to him. That's all I got to say. All right. Are y'all ready to transition to the Braxtons? Let's take a 60-minute break. We shall be right back, y'all. Let me see if I got... No, actually, let's do 30-minute break. Not 30-minute. I'm sorry. 30-second break. I said 60-minute. Let's do a 30-second. 60 seconds. All right. We're back, y'all. Let's get... Whoo, that was a lot. I didn't think I was going to spend that amount of time on Kandi and Todd, but I just never know. I go with my instinct when I do content, and sometimes I'd be like, oh, you got a little bit more in you than you think you had. You know, I guess people don't like breaks, child. I lost 50 people from taking a break, but okay, I hope y'all come back. I lost 50 people, but listen, are y'all ready to talk about the Braxtons? I am. I got a lot to say. And I truly feel like the episode, the last two episodes of the Braxtons has completely changed my mind about Tamar Braxton. Period. You're not touching me. You're not changing my mind when it comes to it. I've been able to sit down and just look at this thing like an adult. Like an adult, okay? I said 60 minutes. I know. I was going to put y'all on hold. Ain't nobody was going to wait on me for 60-minute cutie, but y'all knew what I was talking about. Thank you, Leah's grandma, for the 5-piece and the pepper. She says, Mama Joyce don't like nobody. She wants all the money for herself, period. She might, child. Well, she got it. Kandi's going to always take care of her mom, period. All right, so we're about to get into the Braxtons. Now, I do have a question real quick before we get into it. Are we ending on 8 episodes, WeTV? Because I was like, the way they wrapped it up, it was like a season finale. I don't think we're getting a reunion. Okay, that's fine. But are we Did we only get 8 episodes? And if so, I'm okay with that. I just need to know. All right. So, first of all, we're going to highlight and recap episodes 7 and 8, season 2 of the Braxtons. I made a couple of notes. The first bullet I would like to highlight is I said, Toni Braxton, you're going to have to do a better job of mediating. You're going to have to do a better job of balancing those Libra scales, because sometimes you can be a little messy, Toni, and a little bit, depending on who you're in front of, changes the dynamic of your conversation. And I don't like that. I'm a Scorpio. I don't like that. Don't be changing on me, bitch. If you in front of her, say what you said when you was with me. I don't like that. You can get an enemy out of me real quick by playing both sides. It's the principality of it, Smokey. And I think Toni, is that Libra stuff? You're going to have to pick a side. You're going to figure out how to balance those skills, because sometimes I kind of feel like you be playing this dangerous game, Toni Braxton, but that's all I have for her. And then as I'm watching the Braxtons, season 2, episode 7, something occurred to me. Thank you, Desira. I knew I wasn't the only one. Desira said, yes, that's facts. Thank you. I was like, I know I ain't the only one. Toni, you kind of being messy now. But anywho, I'm watching episode 7, and then something hit me out of nowhere. I said, this episode kicked off with highlighting Tamar in the studio with her team. Tamar, in episode 7, she's in the studio. She's talking to her team, and they're trying to go back and forth regarding which single would be a banger for her. Right? Her life, her reality. I'm singing. That's what I've always done. And I couldn't help but to wonder if Tawanda's issue with Tamar is Tamar is a superstar. Superstars go to work. They're in the studio. They're making shit happen. And I said, you know what? I think Tamar's presence in the reality space primarily features her as an artist. Go back. Watch the tapes. Tamar invents the Braxton family values. You can't take that away. Tamar's reality is she's a singer. She's a songwriter. She's married to a very, very rich producer. She's in a studio. She works hard. She's singing. She's been featured over and over. And I said, that's it. Tamar's a musical artist. And that's something that Tawanda has always wanted to be. Tamar's showcase is what Tawanda feels like she should have had, in my opinion. Tamar has a storyline with or without a man. Single, divorce, mad at Vince, not with Vince, cousin Vince, white man, no white man, Jamaican, none. Tamar is television. Tamar has a storyline with or without her sisters. Just go to the studio. I can film with Logan. I can film with my friends. I can go out on a night on the town. Tamar is a singer. Tamar is everything. It hit me in that moment that Tawanda Braxton thought she would be once Toni Braxton made it. Let me see if I can find this clip of Tawanda Braxton. Now, singing the Star Spangled Banner. Did y'all see that recently? I'm gonna come back to it. Maybe we'll end on that note. I said, I get it now. Tamar leaves no room for Tawanda to forget that Tamar made it, and she did. Tamar's entire existence on reality television is her real life. She's a singer. She's a star. And I said, why would that upset Tawanda? Well, Tawanda thought she was next in line when Toni left the house. And if you look at Tawanda's presence on reality television, it's depicted through men. First Andre, now this guy named Sean. She's been married. She's gotten a divorce. She has to get remarried to get television time. or she has to film with her sisters. Ain't nobody interested in no Tawanda Braxton outside of that. And hell, that's barely holding my attention. I said, damn, Tawanda don't have a standalone story. And it's reflective. What Tawanda wants to recreate or lean on is reflective of the ensemble that they carry through childhood. She does not shine alone. The record company overlooked you. They didn't feel like you had the look. They didn't feel like you had the range. They didn't feel like you had the voice. And you felt or may feel that without Tamar in the picture, you can shine, 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 shine your light, shine it in me, shine it in me. Which is why you won't, you refuse to film with her. I'm gonna get into it. And it gives her an opportunity to stand in the spotlight. See, Tamar can't overshadow me. If I say she's not invited to my wedding, Tamar can't overshadow me, even though she's not trying to compete with me, but I feel like she is. But she can't overshadow me if I pretend I want her at my bachelorette party in Tulum, but then I uninvite her and tell producers, no, she's going to be a problem. Tamar can't overshadow me because I've always been next in line. I don't know how the hell she got second when I was supposed to be second to Toni Braxton. Let's continue. This is just all my opinion. So they get to Tawanda's rehearsal dinner and Trina Braxton's confessional. Listen to this. Trina said that it's really sad that she's the only sister that's there and she's going to have to represent the sisters. I said, no, boo-boo. I beg to differ. It's sad because that's the way Tawanda orchestrated it. Now, if you notice, Toni Braxton doesn't really fool with Trina and Tawanda Braxton if Tamar, y'all gonna quit playing with me, if Tamar isn't around. When Toni is forced to film with Tawanda and or Trina, it's just very hollow. It seems like Toni's lost. She's not sure what to do and or what to say. It's like I did a fan contest where I got to hang out with fans for the day. And I got to buy them food and I got to show up to their weddings, but it's not giving sister. So I was like, oh, okay. Toni's not comfortable when Tamar's not around. And Trina, you did not have to carry the load for the sisters because I do believe that Toni and Tamar are very well aware that you, Trina, and your sister Tawanda utilizes both of them for clout. Quit playing with us. You and Tawanda, y'all go back and watch it. Trina and Tawanda have not been able to shoot a scene without mentioning the names of Tamar and Toni or yearning for their presence. And Tawanda basically admitted that she said, well, you know, this rehearsal dinner is not as formal as most of you would see rehearsal dinners, but that's because we put a lot of emphasis on the wedding. Girl, that's because you counted the coin of Tamar and Toni. And you thought that your sisters were going to show up for you financially. And when they didn't, you had to cut corners. Quit playing with me. You had to cut corners because you thought that you were going to exploit the financial success of Tamar and Toni. And when Tamar probably didn't budge, you started to get mad because she wasn't responding financially as quickly as you thought she was. So she became uninvited. Now watch this. So production did this B-roll and they highlighted some of the footage of Sean and Tawanda's journey while they were dating. And then they showed a clip of Sean asking Tawanda to marry him when the cameras were rolling. And then it made me think. And I found myself saying, this is kind of interesting because now this supports my argument that Sean and Vaughn want to be stars as husbands. Because Vaughn also asked Trina to marry him while the cameras were rolling at Tamar's birthday party. Hold on, where you going with this, Queen Sheba? What does this mean? Lazy, clout chasers, no money spent. None of these men hunted these women. None of these men put their dollar behind these women. Why? They didn't have to, because they rolled off the backs of the production of the Braxtons. They didn't have to do anything but to show up on their set, on their television show, and ask you to marry them on something they did not fund. Lazy. Opportunist. What you mean opportunist? Opportunist. They're not real hunters. They didn't put together nothing for these women. Thank you, too. She said all that, Queen. They didn't put together shit. The Braxtons paid for that. And if you understand the mastermind of the Braxtons and how it came to be, actually Tamar paid for it. Tamar and Vince. These men didn't do nothing. Oh, I didn't think about it like that because you don't pay enough attention as a woman. Your man stole a moment that your sister paid for. Vaughn did it and Sean did it. Yeah. They didn't have to pay for nothing. They didn't have to organize nothing. They didn't have to call up no favors. They didn't have to spend not $1. That's concerning. That would be concerning to me. Oh, no, don't ask me to marry you at my sister's party. It's her party. That means you walk in this motherfucker free. You eat her food. The people she gather here are people here for her, not me or you. So they both did the same thing. And I was like, that's interesting because it supports my argument. These men are cloud chasers. They're opportunists. I ain't got to do nothing. Y'all already paid for it. I ain't got to hunt. They didn't have to do nothing special for Tawanda or Trina. The red carpet was already rolled out. They took advantage of the labor of Tamar. Now watch this. Sean is the same man that had one of his phones on Tamar's account for all of those years when Tamar was not aware that she was paying for him to even talk on the phone. Opportunist. And we've seen what happens when opportunists meet successful women. For example, we just talked about it, Kandi and Todd. That's all I'm saying. And I'm glad they were able to get footage of the real Tawanda on camera regarding that parking space. Did y'all peep that the day of her wedding? Now, there's two sides of this coin. And I understand a bride being concerned. I have to be honest and I have to be fair. I understand a bride being concerned. Make sure I have a parking space dedicated to me so that I can step out and walk right in. I got it. That's important. You told them not to park there. They should not have parked there. I'm going to ride with you on that. But to be cursing and yelling at people and carrying on like you did when you know they're about to move the car, when you know it's going to be taken care of, baby, that's very unnecessary. You are not Toni Braxton. Girl, you are not Tamar Braxton. And even if you were, Toni would not have behaved like that. Toni would have allowed her driver or her assistant to handle that. She did the fucking most. And I said, gotta. I'm glad we got to see a sneak peek of who she really is beyond the cameras, because that's an easy fix. And although it was inconvenient, it was going to take them 3 to 5 minutes to move that car and get you situated. You got the cuss, and I don't give a fuck who it is. I said, that's who Tracy called a snake. That's who Tamar is talking about. She did the most. Only for us to find out that it was your husband's friend that got to Princess Park. Hold on. Only for us to find out that it was your husband's friend that got to Princess Park in your space. Of all the people coming in and out of that venue, it was not a woman that got the primary space. It was your husband's homeboy. How does that happen? How does your husband's homeboy get to Princess Park and all of the other ladies have to park? Y'all, are y'all following me? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? There's a plenty women there. You would probably think maybe one of the women, only for us to find out that it was a man that Princess parked. Y'all know what Princess parking is. Okay. Oh, and they showed who it was on camera. But they was gonna fix it. Okay, it would have taken maybe 3 to 5 minutes to move the car and get you situation. Because if you're gonna be mad with anybody, then be mad with Sean. Okay, it's his friend. Hell, your husband prioritized his friend, made sure his friend got a parking spot over you. Now, as I was watching the shenanigans on camera, it kind of made me sick to my stomach because as I'm watching it and the cameras are rolling throughout the venue, y'all, I swear to God, I almost threw up in my damn mouth. And let me tell you why. It hit me. I said, Lord have mercy. I don't think I can tune in. If they repeat this again next year, I don't think I can tune in. Wait, hold on. What's going on? Tell us, Queen Sheba. Child, it hit me. I said, this is supposed to be about the Braxtons and not Sean's homeboys and all of these freaking extra people that keep getting camera time off the backs of the brilliance and the brain of Tamar Braxton. Lord have mercy. I said, oh my God. This entire season has been about Sean, his homeboys, and Vaughn and his health crisis. Child, this ain't got shit to do with the Braxtons because the truth be told, the only two Braxtons on the show is Tamar Braxton and Tony Braxton. Tawanda and Trina are married. They are no longer Braxtons. No longer Braxtons. And when I realized what was happening in real time, I said, hell no. These niggas done slid in here. These niggas have 90% of camera time. And this is about to go into a love and marriage Huntsville in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. These niggas getting more camera time than the women. These niggas getting more camera time than the women. Fuck, hell no. Tamar, don't do this show next season. And Tony, don't do it either. Don't do it. Let me tell you why. Because if Tawanda wants to show or wants to take the show, let her earn it. No, don't cut it. Don't even cut it. I ain't even about cutting it. Let her earn it. If you think you big and bad, like we would say when it's time to fight, if you think you big and bad, then hit me. Hit us. Hit us with something to talk about. Hit us with something that's worth tuning in and do it. If you think, but don't slide it in and try to trick me, bitch. Hit me upside my head to make me say, damn, I was wrong about Tawanda Braxton and Sean. They are excellent television. And I guarantee you, and I give you my word on November 24th, 2025, I will come back. If you hit me, baby, one more time. If you hit me with something good, but right now you trying to steal something that don't belong to you. And this entire setup has been about Vaughn and Sean. I don't like it. I think it's gross. Now, if she wants the show, and I'm talking about Tawanda, then let her earn her show with WeTV. But what's happening right now in real time, if y'all aren't paying attention, is Tawanda Braxton is sneakily trying to create and carve out a space for her and Sean to be the next couple on the Braxtons. Birdman got his own shit. He don't need no damn WeTV with whatever little coin they throwing. Child, please, it ain't worth his time. Tamar don't need a man to stand to have a show. Vaughn needed, and so does Sean. And Tawanda is going to fight to the death to make sure she's the star because that has been her MO since day one as a teen that has been overlooked in that singing group. Okay. You're no longer a Braxton, Tawanda. You got married. And then I was pissed off because I was like, that's fine. It's her wedding and it took us 8 episodes to get through. But why are you drinking that cheap ass Prosecco? Lamarca. And Lamarca, I ain't got no problem with you, but why are you drinking that cheap ass Prosecco? That Prosecco, I think all of us, see, when I tune into the Braxtons, I don't want to see Tiffany Rose Gold that we can all order from Walmart. or wherever we decide to order from. I don't want to see Prosecco that you can go get from Walmart. I'm in this fucker to see the Braxtons. When I turn on the Braxtons, I want to see exactly what Tamar Braxton booked in Malibu, California. Some shit that I can strive to say, oh, child. Let me get them sound bowls. Oh, next time I want to try that. I ain't never had that. I wonder what that tastes like. What we doing, We TV? Now, Tawanda tells the photographer that watch this. So there, she's getting ready, right? And I'm in it. I'm looking. So then she tells the photographer that her son Braxton, who she named Braxton. I don't know why that's funny to me. Okay, she names her son Braxton. And then they showed a picture. I was like, y'all messy. Now I know how television works. Y'all. Who y'all messing with TV? But isn't this the same network that does Love After Lockup? Okay, but anywho, she looks at the photographer and she says, well, my son Braxton can't make it because he's graduating from the Navy. And I said, got her. Boom. And that's why I always say, baby, can't no right come from doing wrong. What you talking about, Queen Sheba? Because you were being messy when you rescheduled your wedding to fall on Tamar's birthday. See, had you left the wedding to what it should have been, the original date, your son would have made it. But because you tried to sock it to Tamar, neither Tamar nor your son can make it. Can't no right come from doing wrong. Your son would have been there if you wouldn't all about the bullshit behind the scenes. But you outsmarted yourself to a point you couldn't see the forest because of the trees, and you cut off your nose to spite your face. And now your son can't be there to see you get married because you was too smart in your head, and you try to pull a quick one. Let me put it on her birthday because I know she ain't gonna come, and I can make it seem like a manipulating gaslight. But at the end of the day, you cut your son out the picture. Period. That's all I'm saying. Did y'all pick up on that? So when you decided to get cute and schedule it on Tamar's birthday, now your son can't make it. And I bet she didn't connect those dots. Now, and I wasn't sure what to think about Sean's interactions with Mr. Braxton. Go back and peep it. When they were all getting ready to get married, did you not see when Mr. Braxton came in with his suit and he said hello to Sean? That was the most awkward yet interesting, I don't know, interaction. And I said, I'm not going to make anything up because I'm not sure. But I felt like Sean didn't show enough appreciation for the father of the bride. And it's almost like he presented a level of arrogance. And then to Wanda, listen, thank you, all things possible. It was weird. He's like, okay, yeah, thank you. It was weird. I don't know. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go with my spidey sense. There's something here. I don't think he dislikes Mr. Braxton or anything like that. It was just an arrogance. There's a level of respect that you have for elders and mothers of the bride and fathers of the bride. I don't think he displayed that. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Now, then you got Tawanda back there. All of a sudden, we hear this ugly, nasty cry. Something out of The Color Purple. And I'm like, what happened? What happened? So I'm turning up my television, right? And she crying. And they rubbing her back and all of that. And I'm like, okay, something must have happened. And then her friend says to her, whatever it is, you forget about it. Because this is your day. And I was like, okay, they on some bullshit. They on some messy shit. And her friend says, focus on you. You don't focus on nobody else. This is your day. And I said, you know what? Them demons. Hold on. I said, them demons done caught up with your ass. Because you know you wrong for what you did. You created a fictitious beef with Tamar because you just don't like her. You didn't want her there. You did all of this. And when she caught on, you disinvited her to your wedding. And you know you're wrong because your sister was supposed to be there, but you conjured up this beef. It got out of hand. You even tried sending your sister to jail, and now you crying. Oh, color purple cry. Oh, roll of thunder, hear my cry. For no reason. You started it. You created this crazy. And you sitting here on what's supposed to be the beautiful day of your life. And then it hits you. Damn, I ain't even have to take it that far. So you shed your tears. And let me be honest with y'all. I don't care nothing about Tawanda's tears. Now that I've got a full view of who Tawanda Braxton is, I didn't care. It didn't move me in no way. Because her heart posture is wrong. I think she's a mean girl behind the scenes. And like Tracy said, you a snake. You enjoy watching people squirm. And it was confusing to me how you can mourn the absence of someone's presence, i.e. Tracy, but then you treat your other sibling like crap, as if she can't go tomorrow. And you'll be crying for her the next day. See, that's why I say I don't buy into the tears. Because if it's really about we only have one life to live and I miss Tracy and we're all supposed to be sisters, then how come Tamar's not there? And watch this. Watch this. If it's truly what you say it is, would this not be the time to mend broken fences? Would this not be the time to sit down and talk? Would this not be the time to come together for kumbaya? I don't believe you, girl. I don't. And I believe you feel real bad because you should have treated Tracy better. You have an opportunity to treat Tamar better, but you've been treating Tamar like this for years and everybody think this is new. It's not. It's a repeated pattern of Tawanda and her disdain for Tamar. We can go all the way back to when she appeared on that show, that reality show where she called Iyanla Vanzant and wanted to confront young Tamar about chasing her dreams. Y'all, this ain't nothing new. This ain't nothing new. This is repeated patterns of behavior, toxic behavior on the behalf of Tawanda Braxton. Now, Tawanda, you could have wrapped up, y'all. So they move past her crying. Watch this. And then Brookie comes in. Now, I'm going to say this. And I want to say this with as much tenderness as I can. You could have wrapped up, you could have wrapped up Brookie's locks in a way that would have been very becoming, as my grandmother would say, to Brookie. Brookie's still a child. And sometimes kids don't always make the best decisions that's in the benefit of them. When Brookie goes back 10 years from now and sees herself, hold on, Andrew, don't make me laugh now. And sees herself with them locks. See, let me tell you what I was thinking. I know what kids, I want to wear this. I want my hair like this broccoli, spaghetti. Okay, but we're not doing that today. So either you can keep the bang, or you're going to keep the ducktail, but you're not keeping both. So either we're going to work with the bang, but you're not going to let all this hang. Because I'm your mama and I know best. And let me tell you what's going to happen, my daughter. This footage will be out there forever in a day. And I know you like the bang. Hold on. But here's what I think you could have done. I think you could have wrapped up the rest in the back in a cute little ball in a bun and let the bang hang. And that would have been very becoming. Very becoming. What's the name of that movie where that little girl came out that TV? And her hair was wet? Hold on. Now here's what, because I'll be looking at my stuff. I'll be like, no, you finna get your hair cut. I want nope. Not walking out of this house. Now we gonna taper it up. We're gonna do a little bit. Not the Poltergeist. It was another movie. But the point I'm trying to make No, The Ring. Thank you. And then I started honing in on the psychological and behavioral traits of the Black experience. I said, why is Brookie hiding her face? The Ring. Why? Why is Brookie hiding her face? Brookie has a beautiful body. She's a teenager. She has a body where people actually they contract those type of little physiques to model, but they got to be able to see your face, baby. What is she hiding from? So I'm always interested in the psychology, right? And have you noticed that they haven't really shown Trina's children? Now, have y'all noticed that? And now I'm curious because I'm like, we've seen what's the little boy name? Landon? Logan. We've seen Logan. We've seen Brookie. We've seen Denham and the other son of Tony. We have not seen Trina's, the bang. We have not seen Trina's sons. But then they pan the camera through the wedding venue. And they did a shot of this mixed looking boy that was in the audience. And I said, is that Trina's son? And why are Trina's kids not being featured? And I'm curious to know, is it because the kids don't want to be on the show, or is it because Vaughn has pushed them out of the picture? I just don't think Vaughn is a nice person. Not Vaughn. I'm sorry, not Vaughn. I don't think Tawanda's a nice person. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't think Vaughn's nice too, but I'm gonna get to him. And the reason why I say I don't think Tawanda's nice, because what did Logan do to you, Tawanda, to get disinvited? Because even if Tamar couldn't come, how come Logan's not at your wedding? He's with Miss Evelyn all the time. All his cousins are there, but he's not there. And that's why I say Tawanda's not a nice person, because she doesn't recognize the impact of her need to be the superstar and how it can impact kids. That's a kid. He's going to want to know what I do. Grandma, how come I can't go to the wedding? Even your mama, Miss Evelyn and Tony, stated in their confessional that it's wrong that Tamar's not there. And what that tells me is whatever beef you've conjured up in your mind, Tawanda, that feels right with you, is really not that significant. Even your own mama and your sister said, nah, to be honest, nothing that bad happened, that Tamar shouldn't be here. That tells me you're acting for the cameras and you're willing to kill Tamar, not literally, but her reputation, her business, and her existence on the show by any means necessary, just so that you can make it. You're wrong, ma'am. So then Tamar shot a scene. They go to Tamar. She shot a scene in her home with her therapist, and I liked it because I feel like it gave me an opportunity as a viewer to discover more about who Tamar Braxton is. And Tamar, what I didn't discover, what I did not know then, and I think I know now, and I believe Tamar may have used her resources to extend her therapist out to her sisters. Now, if you understand how therapy works, they charge you by the hour. That's a pretty penny, y'all. Listen, that's a fucking pretty penny. Excuse my language. That's a pretty penny. If my therapist is charging me by the hour, no, my sister, you got to get your own. And I'm sure that the fact that Tamar is a celebrity, oh, they up that price. Period. So Tamar pays this therapist to be on set with her. And then she extended the therapist to go to her sisters to see how they felt about having a sister weekend. I felt like that was very generous. I don't want to come to you and ask for camera time if it's not in the best benefit of your mental health and well-being. So let me send my therapist. And to send a therapist, a trained professional, says a lot, because the therapist isn't going to get on nobody's side. And a therapist is there for the benefit of all parties involved. And what I was able to find out in Tamar's discussion with her therapist is that Tony and Tamar are extremely close. Even after the fight, they was cool. Even though they jumped up. Thank you. Even though they jumped up and was bucking each other, they went to dinner later. Child, Tamar and Tony was fine and went out and had lunch, period. like sisters do. I was like, oh, the cameras didn't capture that. They did it in a B-roll as Tamar was talking to the therapist. Tony and Tamar are so close that Tony brings her children out to have lunch with Tamar. When have we seen Tony Braxton give Tawanda Braxton or Trina Braxton access to her children in a private moment? I'll wait. I could be wrong. Now, I like the dynamics between Tamar and her therapist. I like the dynamics. And I said, you know what? Having a therapist is almost like dating somebody because there has to be chemistry in order for us to stay together and continue this relationship. So what that tells me is they got good chemistry. There is like this natural ebb and flow. And it's a good match. Tamar seems to be her natural self around her therapist. This is reality television for me. I don't get to see any of that from Tony to Wanda or Trina. Tamar's like, listen, I know I'm diagnosed with depression. I know I got a little something and I'm on some medicine, but y'all are the ones that are really supposed to be taking the pills. But okay, we can play like it's just me. And I like the fact that she's allowing us full access to her real life. I said, Tamar is herself with this lady. That means they got a really good dynamic because a therapist can only help you. Hold on. Because I know some of y'all got therapists, but let me tell you something. A therapist can only help you when you are your full self and when you are willing to tell the damn truth. Other than that, it's a no-go item. Now I understand why Tamar said this day keeps triggering me over and over and over and over again. I understand it now. Most of you don't get it. I do. Tamar says, well, let me say this. So why Tamar keep talking about that day? Because why would you help my alleged abuser? Why would you give him my address to serve me? If it's true, what the streets are saying that Mikey, her older brother, may have been one of the pedophiles or one of the predators to touch her, that's why she's hurt. That's why she had that energy to fight and pull your hair, Trina. Why would you help him serve me when you know allegedly what he did to me? When you know allegedly, if it's true. And I said, that's why Tamar can't let it go. Why you helping my abuser? It don't matter if he like it or not. Don't give that nigga my address. Now, let's continue. I'm sick and tired of hearing about Trina and Vaughn. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sick and tired of Trina and Vaughn. And let's, if you know you sick, then stay your ass at home. Now, if what your doctor, watch this, I'm going to break it down and some of y'all going to be mad. If what your doctor is saying is true about your potassium levels, stay your ass at home. I'm tired of you. I'm about tired of you showing up in these damn scenes. I'm tired of it, y'all. I can't listen. I'm tired, sir. You a grown ass man. You know you sick. If you are sick, why the hell you keep coming, interrupting scenes so that you can steal the show? Talking about, oh, he ignored the doctor. I know he did. I know why he ignored the doctors and their orders, because he wanted to capture this moment on camera. That's it. That's all. Because if it was that serious, the cameras would have stopped rolling, boo-boo. If you on your deathbed like you were claiming to be, don't nobody got no time for no damn, get that damn camera out of my face when I'm on my last leg. He would have stood there. If that man was really about to die, that man would not have stood there in front of those cameras with his pink jacket on, point blank, period. And Trina, you know he's full of crap. And you're aiding and abetting this behavior for camera time. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. I do not tune into the Braxtons to watch Vaughn's health crisis. I have no interest in it. Babe, if I want to watch a health crisis, there are so many different medical medium shows I can go to. I can watch Dr. Terry DeBro. I can watch Botched. I ain't got no interest in Vaughn. I don't give a damn about Vaughn's heart condition. I don't. I'm sorry, but I don't. Shit, that ain't why I'm turning on the Braxtons. I'm here to hear some good singing, some good old food, the sisters enjoying themselves. I don't want to hear nothing about that. That's not where I need you to take me, WeTV. Now, producers, y'all are going to have to figure something out because this is like the second or the third time that Vaughn has become the focus of an episode. I can give you probably 3 episodes that Vaughn has been the primary focus, and this nigga is not a Braxton. What are we doing? And then it hit me. I said, oh my God. Now Tawanda's entire wedding has become about Vaughn, and they know exactly what they're doing. He ain't that damn sick. He can't be. He can't be. When you're really sick like that, you ain't got no time for no damn reality cameras in your face, shooting and trying to catch scenes and episodes to get a check. Get the hell out of here. And now you got Toni Braxton sitting there stuck with a scene that she didn't ask for. Hold on, that she didn't ask for one of Vaughn's friends, one of his homeboys. That's what I'm talking about, y'all. Toni Braxton was looking around like, hold on, how I get stuck with this pimp? Tony's looking like, I'm a celebrity. Get me out of here. Y'all remember that show? Y'all, listen. Come in a little bit closer. Listen to me very carefully. We've seen more of these men and their friends than we've seen the sisters. Let me say it again. We've seen more of these men and their friends this season than we've seen the sisters. And thank you, Miss Evelyn, for being the voice of reason. When Tony came to you and said, should I tell her now? You said, not right now. Wait till it's over. You know what Miss Evelyn was saying? Stop giving that nigga camera time. Don't talk about him no more. Period. And that was episode 7. Now let's go to episode 8 real quick. Guess what they continue with? The saga of Vaughn. Trina probably, earlier in episode 7, Trina said, well, I'm the only sister here and I got to ride for the sisters. And then it hit me because when Trina disappeared strategically, Toni Braxton at the end says to Tawanda, well, at least I stayed for the entire time. And then I said, well, I be damned. Trina probably did that to force Toni Braxton to stay the whole time. This is so fake so that we can at least get some highlights with Toni Braxton. With Trina, you're going to have to fake a medical crisis. Because watch this. Now they got a red Kool-Aid color head doctor. Watch this. I'm going to get real disrespectful in the most beautiful way. This is so fake to me. Because how would his doctor know whether or not what he did after he left her office? When you go to your doctor, if they refer you out, that's the end of the conversation, right? That's the end of the conversation. You don't track your patients like that. You don't have a personal up close relationship with like that. You're really not supposed to have it on camera or off camera. It violates and constitutes like a level of care. It's too personalized, right? But I'm not going to hold her to that. But I'm just saying, how would you know he didn't go when you saw him at the wedding? But watch this. I felt like it was staged. And so then I said, gross. This seems staged. Vaughn may be Jacob the trickster. Because Vaughn seems to have complete control and mastery over his relationship and his marriage with Trina. Now, what type of gluttonous punishment are you subjecting yourself to, Trina Braxton, and why? Why are you allowing yourself as a grown woman to be drugged through this, whatever this is? What's eating you up on the inside that makes you put up with this? And I keep saying this man can be sick. You got to get the hell out of here with that. Who orders fried catfish? Watch this. Who orders fried catfish on their way to ER? Y'all, quit playing with me. This man ordered fried catfish to go when the doctor said he was about to die. See, y'all not gonna play with me like this. I don't mind a little bit of playtime, we TV, but you can't pee on my leg and tell me it's raining. I said, this nigga ain't sick. You can't be sick. Sir, you on your way to having a medical emergency and you stop by the catfish place, Catfish and More, Catfish Connection, and say, let me get that, give me the whole catfish, extra tartar, and you let them eat it. Girl, you, listen, this can't be real. And I don't know what part this doctor is playing, but ma'am, you cannot be his doctor if you're asking him for his medical history the next day. Should you not have access to his My Chart? Right, I'm having all of these questions. I don't need nobody to fill in the gaps for me. All you got to do is use common sense. So as I'm sitting here listening to this, I keep rewinding because now my healthcare experience is taking the forefront. And I'm like, something is off about this. Why you need him to bring you up to speed on his medical history? If you just saw him the previous morning and you said that his potassium levels were at a toxic level. So you need him to come back in the next day and tell you what happened? If you just saw him, hold on. And then I said, well, it kind of sounds like Vaughn, she doesn't have an established relationship with him. It sounds like Vaughn may be bouncing around from urgent care to urgent care. And I was like, I don't know if I can take this serious. So I kept rewinding. I was like, it's something in the scene. Just keep rewinding, right? And I was like, there's gapes, there's holes in the story. But if I keep rewinding, I'm going to find something. And lo and behold, I'm looking at Trina Braxton, who's sitting there like a damn fool, going along with it. I said, somebody lying. Somebody's lying. And I was like, keep rewinding, Queen Sheba. I know, keep. And then I caught it. I said, wait a minute. Look at the office. This don't look like no damn doctor office. I don't see no certificate of completion on the wall. Shit is messy. Wait, what kind of office is it? And then I honed in on her jacket. Girl, you ain't no damn doctor. You're a nurse practitioner. Not to take away from you. Let's be very clear. But you are not a doctor. You are a nurse practitioner. Gotta. Hold on. Where you going with this, Queen? Give me 1 second. See, you got to be very careful about claiming to be a doctor when you just because you want to. Do you not know it's illegal in many states for a nurse practitioner, even though they can have a DNP, which is a doctorate, they cannot present them. It's illegal in many states for them to present themselves as a medical doctor. Pause. Hold on. I did my research. I kept rewinding. I was like, something is off. Why are you asking him questions that you should know as a doctor? And a nurse practitioner is not a medical doctor or a doctor of medicine. Both have advanced degrees. Both can diagnose and treat illnesses, but the difference lies in their educational paths and the scope of their practice, which varies by state. Okay, watch this. The scope of practice. A nurse practitioner can diagnose and treat common illnesses, prescribe medications, and coordinate care, refer you out. In some states, nurse practitioners have full practice authority and can practice, right? Evaluating patients and creating treatment plans without direct physician supervision. But when you started to get into the more complex medical diagnoses, such as heart failure and kidney disease, kidney failure, no ma'am, that is not your patient. That's a doctor's patient who has a wider scope of practice, especially for complex or severe conditions and surgery. So then I'm like, oh, got him. So I'm sitting here because now y'all playing with me, WeTV. Some nurse practitioners do have a DMP, and they use the title doctor in clinical settings, but it causes confusion with medical doctors, and it's banned. It's not only illegal, but it's banned in many states. The American Medical Association, the AMA, and other medical groups maintain that physician should be reserved for those who have earned a medical doctorate and have completed a residency program, period. Watch this. So then I'm like, I knew it. I knew it was something in the scene. I just got to pay attention, right? I said, Dr. Brown is a nurse practitioner. Now, we don't want to take away from that, but how come you're not happy with that? Had you said nurse practitioner, that's good. That's all. Girl, we would have, but you, listen. Watch this. And I'm not trying to downplay her credentials, but ma'am, you can't be treating him for congestive heart failure. He should be working with a cardiologist, correct? And the fact that he isn't gives me pause because I have not seen one cardiologist on this show working with Vaughn. So in my mind, something ain't adding up, boo. Dr. Brown is not a doctor, although accomplished. She's a nurse practitioner. And being a doctor and being a nurse practitioner are not the same. And then Trina Braxton sat her ass down there in her confessional and stated that Dr. Brown, who's not a doctor but a nurse, is Vaughn's primary care physician. You a lie. That's not true. She cannot be a primary care physician when she's not a doctor. Now, he's probably seen her once or twice. And while some nurse practitioners do have a DMP, like I said, she's not a doctor. And if you listen closely to the episode, she said that she referred him to a hospital. Ma'am, if you were a doctor, why are you referring him? You said to a hospital. You didn't say specialist. If you are his doctor, you should already be practicing in the hospital. So why would you have to refer him to a hospital, doctor? Why would a doctor refer him to a hospital when she's already in the hospital? Because you're out in this brick and mortar facility. Okay? So he needed to go see a doctor. Watch this. With a wider scope of practice. And guess what? Guess what he did? Vaughn didn't go to the doctor, according to her. Is it because he's not as sick as he says he is? And then he ordered that fried catfish on the way to urgent care. And I do believe Vaughn is running back and forth to urgent care. And then he got sent home after waiting all night, but let Trina Braxton tell it in her confessional. She want us to believe that he was admitted to the hospital. Girl, I call bullshit. And then he got to come home. Girl, quit playing. You had to sit in that motherfucker just like everybody else at a county hospital. You had to sit in the county like everybody else. Quit playing with us. It took them 8-9 hours probably to see him. So it wasn't that they, what is it called? Admitted him. You was just there all night. Now watch this. You don't need to follow up with the nurse practitioner when you're under a doctor's care. There's no reason for you to go back and tell her what's happening if you are now seeing a doctor. Didn't she tell him to go to the hospital? Then why is he in your damn office the next morning giving you a rundown of what the doctor said? Ma'am, if so, you out of order, you out of practice, you are not practicing right, and you are defying every protocol of healthcare and medicinal medicine. Because once you triage him to the next elevated level of care, you are now out the picture. So why would he need to make an appointment to come back to you, to talk to you? Watch this. If you are indeed a part of his care team, you can simply open up his MyChart and see what the doctor has treated him for. How come you didn't have his chart? How come you didn't have no paperwork? No treatment plan? Y'all, this is all hogwash. I said this man is playing in our faces all while getting a check. Either this man is really sick. This is what I came up with. Either Vaughn is really sick physically and just has a funny way of handling his sickness, or he's sick in the head. And I think I'm going to go. I don't know this to be true, but I'm going to go with sick in the head.
Ever diagnosed with any type of like mental illness or any type of diagnosis, any type of learning disability, anything like that?
I have a crazy problem.
That's it. I'm going to have to go with sick in the head because it doesn't seem like it's landing. And when things don't make sense to me, I'm going to go with me. Because if he's really sick, the tone of the episodes, they just don't match the diagnosis. And ma'am, how come you didn't look at his chart before he arrived? How come you weren't prepared to say what you saw and what your recommendations would be? How come you didn't print out the paper? How come you didn't have the chart in your hand? And say, okay, according to the doctor. But like I said, why is he even talking to you? If this is what's really happening in real time, he shouldn't even no longer be under your care. So I'm confused. And then that's when I started to say, I'm going to start skipping through this bullshit because I'm going to use my common sense. I'm going to use my healthcare experience in this one. And I'm not a doctor, but I know better. And if he has kidney failure, he's also no longer in your care. And if he's really as sick as he says he is, watch this, y'all. I'm finna be done now. If he is as sick as you say he is, why are you talking to him about getting a hard penis? Why is this lady telling him, well, if you don't stop, your penis not gonna get hard? Ma'am. So it can't be that serious. Girl, if death is really on the table, his kidneys have failed, his heart has failed. Who the hell cares about getting a heart on when they're about to go be with the Lord? Trina Braxton. Girl, you done did the damn fool. You said since he was first diagnosed, they gave him 90 days to get right, or he was supposed to have surgery. Watch this. Now, according to your Instagram and your YouTube, he's been eating like crap. He's ordered fried catfish on his way into having a medical emergency. Now, keep in mind, they filmed this show 6 to 9 months ago. 90 days has since come and gone, y'all. Has he had surgery? See, the lies you tell. And then on your way out the office, you lied and told that lady that red hair was cute. Y'all, I cannot with the Braxtons. And I ain't never went this long on Party in the Chat, but they done pissed me off so. I said, I'm going to run it down and I'm done with it. Because why would him having, and that meant you say he about to go. And then let me get to Malibu because I'm done with the Braxtons. So we get to Malibu, right? And I was like, well, shoot, at least we know the sisters that have a coin in the family. Because those are the ones that ain't cutting corners when it comes to their scenes on the show. Tamar rented this bed, and I mean beautiful bed home in Malibu for the sisters to have a beautiful weekend of healing. When I tell you that house was laid and played and slayed, Toni Braxton walked in. She looked good. Walked in like she was supposed to, like Toni Braxton. Came in like a superstar. Tamar had a blow-up doll for Tawana. That was funny. Okay. They talked about Toni's marriage. Now, here's the thing, Toni, they were trying to put your shit on the table. And then Toni said, I don't feel comfortable talking about my personal life. Girl, bye. You in reality television. We want to know everything about you and Birdman. And if look now, Toni, the streets are talking. They say Kimora Lee told him he better get his ass to where she was. And that's why they said Birdman, as soon as he said, I do to you, he disappeared on you for 2 weeks and flew to be with Kimora Lee, allegedly. And you told him if he don't get his ass home, you're going to divorce him. And that's why Toni Braxton, they said that you filed for divorce because he was over there with Kimora Lee. But I'm going to come back to that. I've been on that story. I've had leave it alone because I ain't want to mess with Toni Braxton like that. I got that over a year ago. And I said, I ain't going to do it like that. I ain't gonna do it like that. But girl, you on a reality show. What the hell you mean? I don't feel like talking about my personal life. Well, then what the hell are we doing? Why is you getting a check? Because we want to know where was Birdman for them 2 weeks? They say he left you 2 hours after saying I do. He disappeared. So what's really going on, Tony Braxton? And then you get Trina Braxton, who don't want to really talk about what's going on with her and try to charge Tamar up. I'm not talking about that. Wait a minute. What else is going on? What you mean you're not talking about it? So you mean to tell me Tawanda, Trina, and Tony get to fly under the radar while Tamar has to be the scapegoat and carry the show? Okay. Okay. I'm going to tell you why, side-eye to Sage, because he got a lot of money. You say, well, all these women want Birdman. Easy. Birdman ain't going to bother you. He don't want no sex from you. He don't want too much. He's old. He got a lot of money. He's going to buy you a mansion. He may come through every now and then for some llama beans and rice, some other pork chops. You might get him once or 2 times out of the year. Girl, if you don't sign up for Birdman, it's easy. Checks coming automatically, period. But when he coming to town, you just need to make sure you cook for him. That's it. That's why. He easy. Now, Trina don't want to talk about what's going on with her. She says she has high blood pressure, but she will not discuss why on camera. I said, what's really going on? Tawanda, Tony, Trina. And you see how Tony low-key blamed Tamar for Trina being disingenuous about her life on reality television? And I said, hold up, don't do that, Tony. How did you just make Tamar the scapegoat of this family? And I said, that's because she's always been. And I don't care what nobody else has to say. Yes, Tamar can be annoying at times, absolutely. But Tamar's razzle-dazzle that y'all don't like is a direct effect of her being abused repeatedly over and over by multiple family members. Tamar will never be the same. Tamar will never be normal to any of you. Tamar's going to never pipe down, period. That's how she peacock in order to protect herself. Because none of them did it for her. That's all I'm trying to say. That's why you see Tamar in the manner that you see her. But instead of them embracing her, they weaponize what happens to her against her. Okay. Now, the sound bath was everything. And I would love to do it. So, Tamar, if they don't want to go with you next year, I'll go. I'll go. They sat down for that confrontational scene at the table. And then I didn't know this. Tamar said, listen, I was actually good with my sisters. With the exception of Tawanda. She don't like me. We don't talk. And she only talks to me it's been like this for years when we're on camera. She said, I'm cool with that. But Trina was driving over an hour and a half to my house every Sunday for us to have football time. And not just Trina, her whole family would eat off of me and drink my beer every Sunday. And we was good until I announced that I was bringing Ashley Braxton on the show. When she announced that Ashley was coming on the show, they all cut her off. She said, I used to talk to Miss Evelyn. I'm disappointed in you because Tamar said, I used to talk to Mama every day. Everybody turned against her when she said she was bringing Ashley on the show. Now, keep in mind, watch this. They all got mad at her like they all got mad at her for signing that record deal. And I said, that's a damn shame. Y'all would rather protect a predator than to give your niece a chance to speak her truth. Now, mind you, Tamar went through very severe sexual trauma at the hands of multiple family members. So Tamar didn't know about what Gabe had done to Ashley and Ashley's sister. This secret was hidden from Tamar all of these years. Tamar found out when you found out. Who is you? Those of you tuned in. So when Tamar heard this on social media, she got to live in her authentic reaction in real life. See, they had already heard it years ago. They're immune to it. She's not. This was a first time for her. Her heart broke for her niece in real time. So she picks up the phone, gets her niece on the first thing smoking, and they all rallied up against Tamar. Watch this. Tamar wanted to give Ashley an opportunity to talk in a real setting, saying you got to, if you want people to take you serious, if you really want to be an advocate against childhood abuse, you got to come out of that closet. You got to prep yourself professionally, and I can give you that. She didn't know all the intricate details, but they did, and they rallied up. Trina, you led the charge. I'm gonna get to that. The conversation went left. I felt like Trina was very defensive at the table, and I couldn't figure out why. And they got to the point a little bit later down the line. Watch this. The conversation between Trina and Tamar went left instantly because they want to holler. We're sisters. We're sisters. You don't touch me like this. You don't do this. This is not what sisters do to each other. But like Tamar said, but you was coming after my coin, and that's how I feed my son. And when you shut down my podcast and my production, you shut down my ability to earn a keep. You wanted to get technical, Trina, and you said, I didn't hire him. Tamar said, but he's your good friend. Although he's your family attorney, but I didn't hire him. It don't matter if you hire him. He operates in dual roles in your life. He's your good friend, and he's also your attorney. Trina said, it's not my business what somebody else does. I'm not at liberty to tell you anything. Well, how can you say sisters don't do this and that, but then when it comes time for you to be a sister, you're not going to give your sister a heads up that something's coming down the pipeline to ambush her? I'm confused. See, I can use a technical argument against you. You don't touch a sister. We're sisters. But you touched her. You set her up. You gave out her address. You're the only one that goes to visit Tamar on Sundays. And you gave her accuser, allegedly, her abuser, allegedly, access to her private home. She said her home is not in her name for a reason. Because she don't want to be bothered by people that have hurt her. And Trina kept saying, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. That's not the point. For those of you that are tuned in, it doesn't matter who did it, Trina. The point is you had knowledge and you all were aware that she was about to be ambushed. And prior to this, you had a good relationship with her. How you go eat dinner with somebody every Sunday and you're about to watch their head get chopped off? Et tu, Brute? It's a dirty game. Why would you not give your sister a heads up? If you were indeed in good spirits with Tamar, why would you not let her know, girl, listen, I don't want to be involved. I don't want nothing to do with it. But Mikey is about to serve you a cease and desist. But I'm going to tell you, I know why. I know why you did it, Trina Braxton, because you had a personal vested interest in protecting your own reputation, because you turned the other cheek when your nieces came to you about your husband coming at them sexually. And you personified them as grown women, and you made it seem like they wanted him. And they were trying to take your man instead of your man violating kids. That's it. That's all. And let me just say, allegedly. That's it. Why would you not let Tamar know, girl, you're about to be taken down? Now, I really can't tell Trina what to say or what not to say. That's not the point, y'all. Well, they didn't send it. That's not the point. You knew it was coming, sister, and you didn't do nothing. I appreciate Tamar apologizing to Tony when she found, Tony said, I didn't know nothing. And then I was like, well, I be damned. Trina and Tawanda strike again. Trina manipulated that conversation by being very technical and presenting a technical argument. You set your sister up to be served, and you did it to protect your own reputation. You did it so that your skeletons wouldn't come out about you supporting your ex-husband. Thank you, Tamar, for apologizing to Tony Braxton. Tony said, I had no idea. And then I say that makes sense because Tawana and Trina know damn well to come to Tony Braxton about some BS in regard to taking their sister down. Let me tell you why. Because Tawanda is the same one that say, call the police on her. Tony said, I'm not doing that to my sister. I'm not going to send my sister to jail and say that she physically assaulted me when she didn't. We're just talking a little hair pulling and pushing. Press charges on her. Press charges on her. So I knew once I heard Tony Braxton say, I ain't had nothing to do with that. Now that you know, yeah, Tony wouldn't be down for no type of crap like that. Tony's a celebrity. She understands what it feels like to have your privacy violated, let alone by one of your damn sisters. Leave that shit up to paparazzi. You gave my address out? My sister? Oh, you can never come back over here and eat not one good green, one good roll, one good chicken strip or shrimp. Ever. You dangerous. And if you fucking give my address to my abuser, I know you would give it to a young nigga off the street if you really got mad. No. That's why I can rock with Tamar. That's why I understand her passion. Yeah. And this lets me know this was a scheme concocted by Trina and Tawanda. They really don't like Tamar. Tamar is kind of dangerous when somebody starts to give out your address. I ain't gonna lie. Because see, once I give out your address, it don't matter if somebody comes to me and say, hey, listen, I need to serve Lakeisha. I need to serve Desira. I need to serve Miss True. I need to serve All Things Possible. I need to serve SM Butterfly. If they're not telling the truth, once I give them your address, it's out of my hands. I have no control. That's all I'm saying. And Trina still didn't admit it. It was like pulling teeth, trying to get Trina Braxton to admit that she had a hand in trying to destroy Tamar, low-key ambushing her, you gave your sister's address out to niggas. And then defended it. It don't matter if they told you they were serving her. What if they the ones that knocked her teeth out? Now that I'm thinking about it, Mikey, is that you? Allegedly. I'm just saying. You see how that works when how quickly things can get out of control. You gave out her address and now she wakes up with her teeth gone in a puddle of blood. They really don't like her at all. And that's why I say it's a little dangerous to me, because when somebody give your address out where you lay, it's on and popping. I don't care what their reason is. It's on and popping. Trina wouldn't admit her part in it. She used a technical argument. And then she expected Tamar, as soon as Tamar apologized to Tony, Trina took it upon herself to have an accountability conversation. Well, why you at it? Can you apologize for getting physical? Well, if we're going to be technical, Trina Braxton, hold on. If we're going to be technical, and since you presented such a strong technical argument, then the technicality of the situation is that you put your hands on Tamar first. And it doesn't matter the manner in which you touched her. If we're being technical, the technicality is you touched her first. And in this moment, it became apparent to me, y'all, that Tony was indeed the older sister. Because the way Tony sat through all of that, And then Trina was very disruptive, in my opinion. Tamar couldn't get even kind of lay out where she was going with wanting to be there. Trina, it don't matter. Or why does it matter if Tamar saw the footage first? It's not going to change the fact of what's in the damn video. What's in the video isn't going to change nothing. If you touched her, you touched her. It don't matter if she saw it first or if she saw it last. I really didn't understand that angle, but I'm glad that the producer came on and laid the groundwork and said, listen, all y'all watching it in real time. Now, Tamar, you're going to have to work on your Spanish, boo-boo. Because Tamar said, you called me bitch. She said, mentirosa. That she called you a liar, Tamar. You called me a bitch in Spanish. No, she didn't. She said a mentirosa. She called you a liar. I said, baby, black folks don't play with them words they don't recognize. They will automatically assume the words. She called you a liar. That was funny to me. Okay. Anywho, there was some revelation that came out in the heated exchange between Trina and Tamar. Tamar said something that y'all didn't catch. She said, why do you hate me so much on camera? We good. You come to eat at my house every Sunday. Why, when the cameras come on, you act like you don't like me? That's a good question. Because didn't Trina Braxton say in her confessional, her and Tamar were cool and they have one-on-one sister dates? You fake, Trina. And do I think Trina Braxton touched Tamar in like a way to fight her? No, I don't. However, when people are fighting, things can get heated and we can't control how someone else perceives your touch in the middle of a fight. You lied though. You lied. You said I never touched you. I only touched Tony. You said you didn't put your hands on Tamar and you did. And let's be very clear. Tamar, for those of you that don't like her, she's winning me over. Tamar took accountability. She just didn't apologize to you up front, but she took accountability. She said she pulled your hair. She said, I kicked the shit out of you. And she kicked you, Trina. And I understand the difference, right? Between accountability versus an apology. But Trina, you didn't apologize neither. And you was willing to stand on it. And Tamar's therapist is really good. Let me tell you why. If you don't notice the growth in Tamar, I saw it. She came to the table. She apologized. Trina didn't come down until Tamar said, I take it back. But Trina still don't mean it, y'all. That's the crazy part. You didn't apologize to Tamar for setting her up and giving her a dress out without her permission. You lied about having any knowledge of it on episode 2. I believe Trina Braxton. Go back and watch episode 2. Trina's like, what? Who? The whole time it was you that gave out the address. And Tawanda said, don't say y'all. Tony said, not me. It was Trina. Go back and watch Trina. I was like, oh shit, Trina Braxton fooled me. I thought it was Tawanda, but it was Trina. But the point and the fact of the matter is, anytime there's Trina, there's Tawanda. Trina initiated the attack on Tamar and still would go eat with her on Sundays. That's diabolical. You lied about having any knowledge at all. So go back and watch episode 2. You're going to watch it with a different pair of eyes and a different set of ears. You feigned surprise at the dinner table when she brought it to your attention, only for us to find out you handed that man her address. Here's the thing that I saw in that moment that most people don't see. If they stop interrupting Tamar and bullying her and slinging her around like a rag doll, like they used to do when she was the youngest, they could have resolved this a long time ago. When Tamar sat down at that table to have that conversation with Trina, Trina interrupted Tamar consistently. Tamar wasn't able to really get in there and issue a direct apology because Trina kept interrupting her, bringing up stuff that had nothing to do with nothing. And then her raggedy ass didn't even issue an apology because she said, I didn't touch you. Yes, you did. And it's become very obvious to me after watching this entire season that I don't care how much y'all say Tamar is childish. Trina and Tawanda do not like Tamar. And that's fine if they don't like her. Families have people that don't get along. We don't always like each other, right? But hopefully we can love each other. But here's where it gets complicated and tricky. Trina was an asshole in that scene. And it wasn't until Tony Braxton said, hold up, Tamar was not the aggressor. We were both aggressive. I stood up first. Then and only then Trina stopped blaming Tamar. Y'all used her fucking mental health against her. In that moment, y'all said, I don't do crazy. And you leaned in the camera. Tony, you owe Tamar an apology because you said mental health is real. But you initiated the aggression and y'all play with her this entire season. And Tony Braxton, thank you for taking accountability. But baby, it took 8 episodes. Your sister went through hell emotionally, psychologically, and spiritually because y'all was trying to gaslight her and manipulate her and weaponize her personality as being the black sheep of the family when you know you initiated aggression and all of y'all teamed up on her when she is in fact the only one telling the truth. I ain't like that. Trina tried to put this entire thing on Tamar, and Tony said, nah, I was aggressive. Because Trina said, you shouldn't have gotten in her face. Tony said, I got in her face first. This is crazy to me. We all watched the same scene. Had Tony Braxton not said Tamar was not the aggressor, Trina, Tawanda even said, call the police. Y'all, look at this shit. This is crazy. Tawanda said, call the police on her, Tony. And Tony says in episode 8, nah, it was me. I'm the aggressor. What if Tony would have said, let's call the police and put her in jail? Listen. Okay, let me see. Coco Mochi says, Queen, do you feel Trina and Tawanda should be upfront about their dislike? They don't know how to be. Now, Miss Evelyn taught them that. And it's not going to, they'll never be upfront. Ayanna Van Zandt, if you watch Starting Over, she told Tawanda she was tricky. Almost like Jacob the trickster, you blame everybody else. You're manipulative. And when things don't go your way, you have this ability to say it's your fault. Because when Tawanda was not getting her way in that reality house, you remember that black lady that started singing the Star Spangled Banner? Tawanda hated her. And then when Iyanla went inside with Tawanda told Iyanla, I don't feel safe with you. Who else is she claiming not to feel safe with? Tamar. And Iyanla said, hold up, you're not going to play me like that. When you start using trigger words, y'all, that's no different than a fucking Karen. Excuse my language. I'm sorry. Tawanda is the enemy. Public enemy. I don't feel safe with you. I don't da-da-da-da-da. Those are words that Karens use to get black people locked up. And Tawanda on camera. Now, if Tawanda Braxton had been a white woman, y'all would have nailed her to the cross. Let's call the police on her. Let's press charges. It ain't no different. And y'all sitting back, relaxing. I can hardly stand her face on camera. You were willing to put your sister in jail over a fight that Tony Braxton, actually y'all started, not even Tony, you and Trina started by ambushing Tamar. and giving out her address without permission, making her feel unsafe in her residence. And then you pretended that you had no knowledge about it. Trina should have won an Oscar. And then you accuse your sister, who may have slept with the man in 1995 or 1997 when she was 17 years old, unable to give consent, and he was 10 plus years her senior. You say you stole your sister's man. No, ma'am, that's called statutory rape. Let's be very clear to Wanda Braxton. And when that wasn't enough, I don't feel safe. Tamar didn't do nothing to you. Let's press charges on her. Well, pressing charges, if found guilty, would mean she would go to jail. That's hate. I would never trust Tawanda Braxton if I was Tamar. And as a matter of fact, I wouldn't give them another season. You and Tony could ride off into the sunset and get your own damn show, in my opinion. Let Trina and Vaughn and Tawanda and Sean do their own thing. But Trina Braxton, if you could have gotten away with it, you would have told a different story regarding Tamar. You said, I'm not going to let you run away with the narrative that I touch you, but you were willing to run away with the narrative that your sister did something to y'all first. Girl, if you don't get the hell up out of my TV in this We TV segment, ma'am, you're the only person here trying to run with the narrative. Trina did push Tamar out the way. I saw it. I watched it. And I'm sorry, but Tamar showed up in this scene. Tamar did her big one, Black people, and therapy works. And that's the difference between those that heal versus those that do not heal. Tamar Braxton led the healing, and I am so proud of her. Period. She did her big one, and I'm sure it took a lot, because it's a lot to stand by yourself when everybody comes against you and you know they wrong, and it takes people years to catch on. Y'all, that's all I got for you. Oh, that's it. That's all. Let me go through some of the comments. Oh, thank you. How I See It TV says Logan was at the wedding. Coco Mochi, thank you for the 10-piece super sticker. We appreciate your support of the channel. Y'all, that's all I got. I've been on here a long time. I normally don't go this damn long. She ate down, Kevin Moore. You hear me? You said Tamar ate. She ate down. And like Tamar said, y'all can make fun of me all you want. I'm on my medicines. I'm thriving. I'm healing. I'm surviving. Tamar, keep doing you. It's going to take you a while to get there. But don't worry about winning nobody else over. Y'all, I'm not like, I ain't been like a Tamar fan. I'm not that invested, but I like how she's showing up. Tamar has given me some pause moment. I'm like, what was that? Ooh, Tamar Braxton. But I can appreciate when people show up as their best selves. Always BQ says they don't want her to talk because then the truth don't come out. For real, for real. You heard Tony say, oh, I don't want to talk about my real life, but you can put hers on display all day, every day, and have for years. And have for years. Hold on, Tamar said, I know you call him. No, I didn't call you a bitch. I called you Mente also. Well, you know, Trina look a fool. Focus on Vaughn and why he doing laps around you, and why he kicking you out of doctor's rooms as his wife when they come in to give a diagnosis. Okay, that's all I'm saying, y'all. Yeah. All right, that's all I got for y'all. It was Monday Night Party in the chat. Thank you, everybody, for pulling up. We appreciate you all. All right, we will see y'all soon. Good night. And look, continue to party in the chat. We're going to let the live run. Get it out. Talk about it.